According to the range rule of thumb, most values should lie within 2 standard deviations of the mean. This is just what we learned before when we looked at the normal distribution. So if we're within 2 standard deviations of the mean, we're going to fall 1, 2 standard deviations of the mean. We're going to be out here somewhere. So this is going to allow us just to do a mathematical calculation and determine which values are usual versus those that are unusual. So let's take a look at example 6 on page 202 of the Triola text. In example 5, they found that for families with 2 children, the mean number of girls is 1.0 and the standard deviation was 0.7 for girls. For those results and the range rule of thumb, we want to find the maximum and minimum usual values for the number of girls that might be had. Based on the results, determine if a couple has 2 children, would it be considered unusually high if they had 2 children? So we can just use the range rule of thumb to make that determination. Remember, a maximum usual value is calculated by the formula the mean plus 2 times the standard deviation, and the minimum usual value is calculated by the mean minus 2 times the standard deviation. So we're given all the information we need in the problem. We can just plug it right in and solve. The mean given in the problem is 1, and the standard deviation is 0.7. So the maximum value is going to be found by 1 plus 2 times 0.7. And the minimum value is going to be found by 1 minus 2 times 0.7. If we do those calculations, we end up with a maximum value equal to 2.4, and we end up with a minimum value of negative 0.4. So that tells us that we can conclude for families with 2 children, the number of girls should usually fall between negative 0.4 and 2.4. So anywhere between those two values is not an unusually high number. So 2 girls would not be considered unusually high because 2 does fall in between those two numbers. So that answers our question. A family with 2 girls is not considered unusually high. In order to be considered unusual, you would have to fall somewhere outside of these two values.